Welcome to I Am the Cute One, the most chaotic school dance in the podcast universe.
Let's spike the punch, grind to usher, and talk about our favorite topic, ourselves.
Hi, I'm Donnie, and I'm the cute one.
And I'm Chelsea, and I am the cute one.
Cuties Recovering Life Size, the 2000 classic starring Tyra Banks and Lindsay Lohan. And Chelsea decided to make the mistake of telling me ahead of time, which I guess is not a mistake. She warned me that she didn't like it. And although I've tried to prepare myself for another while you were sleeping, I've prepared myself for another while you were sleeping, and I'm pissed off.
Okay. Well, I hear your feedback. Next week, we are starting our holiday experience of covering movies, so let me grace you with an early Christmas present. Because this morning, I was graced with a Christmas present of my own, my period. And I did watch half of the movie yesterday, and upon reflection, I think I might have just been PMSing. Because I really fucking hated this film yesterday. But when I returned to the big screen, aka my laptop computer, this afternoon, I was not enchanted, but I was delighted. It was a cute film. So I do think, once again, the PMS hormone monster struck me dead.
Well, I'm sorry you had to deal with that. This is another reason I hate women.
Also, I do have to say my face blindness has gotten out of control. I think that I'm regressing. There was a period of time where I felt like I was on the up and up, but when I saw the cover art of this film, I did think the dad was going to be played by Jason Segel, which I know doesn't make sense time-wise, but I was really surprised to see just another goateed man, not Jason Segel at all.
Does Jason Segel, is he known for goatees?
No, but I think he's had them in certain movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And he's tall and has like a long face like this fellow.
Yeah, someone referred to this fellow as a twink recently, and I don't see that.
No, I would say Jolly Green Giant.
Now that I see. This movie premiered on TV March 5th, 2000 on ABC as part of the wonderful world of Disney. Amazed by Lone Star was the #1 song in the U.S.
Oh, me and my high school boyfriend's song.
Wow.
Baby, I'm amazed by you.
That's a good one. My Dog Skip was top of the box office with Pitch Black and Snow Day rounding out the top 3. And cuties, we're never going to cover Snow Day on this podcast, but if you want to hear us talk about it, we were on No More Late Fees podcast, and we talked about it there. So
delightful time.
Yeah, it was. Not a delightful movie, which is why we won't feel the need to cover it here.
But the facts that I learned from that recording still haunt me to this day, pertaining to oral hygiene, but that's what we call in the biz a teaser, so you got to go over there to be horrified.
On TV, Gullah Gullah Island aired its last episode on Nickelodeon.
What a fever dream of a show.
I know, and did you know the family on Gullah Gullah Island was a real family? Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Well, that's a fact. They were a real family. The son did not a gritty reboot, but a drama about Gullah Gullah Island. And Binya Binya Pollywog's not in it, but it is about the family being on Gullah Gullah Island and he returns home for the first time, etc., etc. And there's a trailer online, but they are having problems finding who to distribute it. But the movie is fully made with the parents as well.
Whoa.
Binya Binya! Yeah.
Huh. Is that the show? Because I always get them all confused. Is that the show where they slide down the slide into the world?
No, you tried to talk about that before. They slide through a slide in a looking glass on Adventures in Wonderland. But Gullah Gullah Island is just a regular backyard on an island, but then Binya Binya Pollywog is there. Binya Binya!
Okay, I don't know what I'm talking about then. They have a playground and then they go down the slide and then there are those Muppet-type creatures and there's a rabbit who always sings whack you on the head, boom, boom, or whatever. There is somebody out there, cuties. I know there's one of you that is following the tangled web that I weave that is my mind. And if you are the one person who knows what I'm talking about and has jumped from place to place, please slide into my DMs or leave a comment in the YouTube and say, hey, it's me. That sentence was just for me.
Well, I'm glad that you finally had your period and life size now, or you would have got whacked on the head, boom, boom.
Yeah, down came the good fairy.
And she said, little bunny foo-foo, I don't want to see you. But I know it from Lamb Chop.
Oh, okay.
Scooping up the field mice and bopping them on the head.
Yeah, because yours is like a jazzy rendition. Mine
That's
is
how
a
she sings
fast-paced. But
Oh, okay.
mine from this fever dream of a show was Little Bunny Foo Foo, I don't want to see you picking up the field mice and bopping them on the head.
Oh, I hate that. That, I feel like, is how your brain works.
100%.
And the lamb chop one is how my brain works. Just a jazz number at all times. If today's episode makes you laugh or scream or sing Little Bunny Foo-Foo at the tempo of your choice, do us a favor and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. A 5-star review is the easiest way to help us grow our audience and this community. Thank you. Also, you know we're on Patreon, so if you want bonus episodes, if you want more of me belching, if you want a community where you can chat with each other, sometimes at Chelsea and I's expense, it's there for you. And ad-free episodes, may I add. That's what this good fairy said. Patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne. It was written and directed by Mark Rossinen, who also wrote the original House on Sorority Row, starring Eileen Davidson, Model Behavior, 2 episodes of Even Stevens, 11 episodes of Lizzie McGuire, A Cinderella Story, The Perfect Man, and 1 episode of Greek.
Wow.
Yeah, all over the place. Did you ever see either of the Sorority Rows, either the original starring Eileen Davidson or the 2000 remake?
I did not.
Oh, the 2000 remake is really good. Like, Rumor Willis is in it, I think. Maybe Audrina Partridge? Am I getting them confused? I'm going to say she's in it. She's the opening
Okay.
death.
Oh, okay. That tracks because I was like, famous actress and overall person with a personality, Audrina Partridge.
No, she, they play a little prank on, like, some boy that cheated on one of their friends or whatever. And they're like, let's act like he hit us with his car. and then, like, he'll freak out. And then we can say, haha, that's what you get for fucking with our friend. So then, as she's laying there faking her death, he takes a tire iron and shoves it through her chest.
Weird reaction, honestly, to be like, I know what will get me away from being the primary suspect of this case.
But anyway, that's the remake. In the original, Eileen Davidson's in it. And there's one part where this girl can't act for shit. And she says, how do we know she is alive? Okay, anyway. Because it was a made-for-TV movie, I couldn't find budget, awards, a review, or trivia about it. So there isn't any. But
Great.
it did have a tagline. So I brought one of my own that says, ain't she a doll?
And I have to be honest, I
Yeah.
forgot to do this part of the assignment.
Okay, no problem. The real one is, she was the perfect doll. Now she's the real thing.
Ugh,
Mine's better, right?
yours is better. Ain't she a doll?
Chelsea, I want to know, what character, if any, do you identify as?
I identify as the exasperated feminist icon in this film, the football coach. He will put a girl on the team, he will let her be quarterback, and he will have to discipline her when she continues to bully her teammate.
That's fair.
Who are you?
Eve, I have a lot of jobs. I'm not good at cooking. I tell people what to do. And I think that girls should do their best to look their best.
Yeah, the makeover scene in the office was very S-coded.
Yeah, and when she told Casey, you look like shit. Like, I was like, oh, yeah, this is me. The time has come. I'm going to give you 1 minute on the clock, and you're going to tell me what this movie's about.
Sure. A doll is magically brought to life to help a little girl dealing with a dead mom, a busy businessman dad, and a concerning case of kleptomania.
Great.
That's it.
Let's jump in.
Like what you're hearing? Head to patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne for more.
There you can find uncut, unedited, and unhinged video and audio footage of current episodes.
That's patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne. See you there.
Eve can do it all. Stand up against fur, work as a doctor, a businesswoman, or a police officer, cook dinner, and still be ready for the ball. Unfortunately, Eve is a doll, and it looks like the only thing she can't do is sell out at toy stores. All kids want these days are high-tech this and high-tech that. Someone who really doesn't want an Eve doll is Lindsay Lohan, a butch 11-year-old redheaded football player with an anger problem and a dead mom.
The dead mom to sporty girl pipeline in 90s and 2000 movies should really be studied.
Really?
Yeah, Roberta, now this.
Oh, yeah. Icebox didn't have a mom either, did she?
Well, any movie before 2005, the girl will be without a mother. But
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of them turn out pretty sporty. That's what happens when you don't have a woman influence in your life, I guess is what Hollywood was trying to tell us.
And I mean, that's fair. But Rick Moranis is not really one that would get you into sports in Little Giants. So I don't know why Icebox was. She should have been making Machines to Shrink Kid.
Which we've never covered any of the Honey, I Shrunk franchise.
We haven't.
Gotta circle back. Honey, I Blew Up the Baby, an underrated sequel in the franchise.
You think that's underrated?
Yes, that baby being Godzilla in the big city. Terrifying. I didn't sleep for weeks.
And while her mother's 6 feet under, her father steps up and fills... Just kidding. He's a workaholic lawyer that never makes time for her, except, of course, on her birthday.
Yeah, where they reflect on happier times, like the time that they all went to the Super Bowl together and the people yelled down in front, but the dad never took Lindsay Lohan off of his shoulders. This is when, again, this was yesterday, so
Yeah.
the PMS monster had her claws in me, but I wrote, my God, these people are animals. Because that anecdote, I know that that was meant to show us, like, look, he wasn't always an absentee dad. He just chose to start being absent when this girl went through the most traumatic loss of her life. But everything about this, I'm like, okay, could you imagine spending money on Super Bowl tickets and not
Right.
being able to see the field because a dad has his child on his shoulders the entire game in front of you?
Yeah, like, why did it have to be the Super Bowl? It couldn't have been like a New Year's Eve parade or something?
Like, just stand on the seat and you'll be the same size as the people. Then you'll be able to
Right.
see, and the person behind you can see. This is just that inconsiderate nature of people in public. And we still have this plight to this day of families just stopping in the middle of a sidewalk to like look around, not a care in the world that people are trying to get around them or trying to like exist in the world too. People are just so self-absorbed these days, Donnie.
I agree. And I saw the Department of Travel has issued, I forget what they called it, some bullshit thing. But basically, they're just asking people to be nice. And they're like, we understand that travelers have become very violent and very aggressive and very whatever. And we're asking you to, like, please be kind to one another. Please talk to each other during the flights. Please do this. Please do that. And I think just asking people that is not enough. I think they need to do some kind of reward program, like the RSVP program at Cecilia Steiner Middle School, where if someone drops their books and you pick them up, you get a little stamp in your thing. And then at the end, you get to go to a picnic. I don't know what the picnic equivalent would be. Maybe a free flight, maybe even a free sandwich on a flight. But I do think there should be some kind of initiative, not just, hey, be nice.
One golden ticket per flight, and the best flyer
Yes.
gets it. I mean, I already act like this in TSA. When I move through, my shoes are off, my laptop's out, I've made it through. I do expect accolades, and yet I never receive them. I just get yelled at. Put your laptop back in your bag. Why? Why must it be different in every single airport? Why can't the rules be consistent? I have ADHD, for God's sake. I need consistency in my life.
I agree. And I think all the people should have to vote on the way out.
Oh, who the best one was?
Yeah, because what if it was like a racist flight attendant? She's not going to vote for, you know, a person of color, or a homophobic one's not going to vote for me. Whereas if the other people in the plane get to vote, then they'll be like, this guy was great.
It's really nice that after all that we've seen in the past couple years, Donnie, you still believe in democracy. You still believe the people are going to make the right choice.
Well, mine is a little more Big Brother coded than presidential.
Yeah, yours is a
election.
reality TV competition, surely.
Yeah. The only thing Lilo wants for her birthday, though, is for her mom to return, something that the other girls at school just can't understand. So she does what any 11-year-old would do, look for spell books that contain resurrection spells so she can bring her mother back from the dead. And I know this is a made-for-TV movie and a kids movie, so it has 2 strikes against it in terms of how good the writing is going to be.
Sure.
But I laughed out loud when the one girl that used to be her friend says, she hasn't been the same since her mom died. Get over it already.
It's been 2 years. Get over it. When we were talking about what character do we identify as,
You're that girl?
no, yeah. I famously like to tell all my friends to get over the trauma that they're currently processing. No, I did think of if I was Lindsay Lohan, and I do think as a child the witchiness of it did speak to me, but this is Coco through and through. If Coco had access to a magic bookstore, you bet your bottom dollar some shenanigans would be going down in her bedroom.
For sure.
But that's why we have the family rule of no devices until they're in high school. Because when Lindsay Lohan in this movie had her own computer in her room, I'm like, this is a slippery slope. We had a family computer in the computer room until I don't know. I think I went to college. We had a shared computer. Did you have your own?
You know what's fucked? The computer room was my room. So I had my
That
own.
is fucked.
And in the early days of computers, no one else really needed to use it. So, like, it was my own. But if they decided, oh, I want to use it too, then they did come in my room and use it.
It's like, in theory, they were doing you a favor, but actually they were just giving themselves like a built-in excuse to cross
Come
boundaries.
in whenever they wanted. Yeah. And then I got so used to it being in my room that I could jerk off whenever I wanted. We didn't have like an extra bedroom in our house because you remember we were poor. So then we moved the computer room to just the kitchen. But now it's become such a habit that I jerk off when I'm on the computer that I had to jerk off in the kitchen.
I love that there wasn't going to be any sort of behavioral modification on your part. You're like, well, you've chose this, and now you're going to deal with the consequences. No, to be clear, our computer room, it was in a room for a short period of time, but then my cousin moved in with us, and that became her bedroom. So our computer room was just a section of our upstairs hallway. There was just a computer and a desk.
Oh, wow.
So I don't think anybody was jerking it. Although, I don't know. I haven't talked to Dylan about it, so TBD. We'll wait till he comes back for his annual guest spot on the podcast in Chelchella.
Okay, great. Lilo goes to the magic bookstore that all towns seem to have, and when the book she needs is $90 more than her budget, she shoplifts, leaving an IOU in place of the book. And Chelsea, you know I've shoplifted like seasoning from Red Robin or silverware from various restaurants or traffic cones. But you know where I wouldn't steal from? A magic store. That's asking for trouble. And now that I said these words, I feel like I've said these exact words during the Hot Chick episode. But guess what? I was right then and I was right now.
I feel like that's just asking to have a curse put on you.
Yes.
And I'm speaking as someone who multiple psychics have told me that I have a curse placed on me. So I know what I'm talking about.
I forgot that. They sure did. At Lilo's birthday dinner, her dad's work wife, Drew, drops by to check in on a deadline. Work won't love you back, mama. But also...
I do love how you are giving great advertisement for the book, Work Won't Love You Back. Have yet to read it, I'm certain. And also, you do use it as a punchline. You've taken my earnest advice to you to read that book, and you've weaponized it against me. You make me laugh each time you do it, but there's something sinister there.
No, because I do see it in other people. I just don't see it for myself. I'm a friend that can give you advice, but not take it myself. You know?
Okay. That's why we work so well. We're not two bitches saying literally at each other. We're two bitches giving advice that we should just like hold up a mirror and say to ourselves instead.
Yeah. So she drops by to check in on the deadline, but also to give Lilo a gift so she can get one step closer to sucking her dad's dick. The gift, however, is an Eve doll. So I don't know if this plan will work because, again, this is an 11-year-old Butch Ginger we're talking about. And she doesn't do dolls. And Chelsea, this bitch must have bought this doll at a garage sale because
Speak on it, Donnie, because I know exactly what you're going to say.
She took it right out of the box. No plastic holding her into like a display case. No rubber bands locked her in place. She just pulled the doll out.
This is a movie where Tyra Banks gave a makeover and it didn't result in a woman having a complete nervous breakdown or have a bald head. And the most unrealistic part of this film was still this scene. Because she didn't have the universal parents experience of like, God damn it, why won't this Barbie just come out? The Louvre had less security than any Barbie I've ever tried to open.
Yeah. You need scissors to get a Barbie loose.
Sometimes a knife.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And she talks a big game about how it's like a collector's item. I'm like, in what world did you just take this loose Barbie doll out of a case? I know Eve's stock is going down, but surely this isn't new.
I'm sure I said this before. My sister used to get a collector Barbie every Christmas that she wasn't allowed to play with, had to put it away in the closet so that she could sell it when she was older.
Stick that little pole up its ass.
Yeah, but she wasn't even allowed to take it out of the box because then people wouldn't want to buy it. Yeah, she had to leave it in the box. So if it is a collector's item, why would you unbox it for her?
I had a collector Barbie that was like Spring Enchantment Barbie or something that had never been taken out of the box. But I found it recently because my parents love to treat my basement like a storage unit. And so sometimes I just go through their boxes and see what treasures I'm going to keep because at this point, Squatters' rights. It's mine now. We've been in this house
you know?
for 6 years. They have not come a-looking, so I'm going to go through some boxes. So I found it, and I just cracked it open, and now it's one of Sapphire's favorite toys she plays with.
Wow.
She has another Barbie to introduce to her playmates the next time you come.
To introduce which ones I can't play, because she only has enough. Even though I know I brought Barbies into that house, they were missing, and the only ones she had were enough for her to play with. I had to be some off-brand. One was missing a foot. Now, that did come into the plot. Don't worry.
Of course. She knew she was giving your character a backstory that was really going to connect. But also, again, she is your biological daughter. That's a power play.
Well, speaking of power plays, I've been thinking of how to bully them when we play Hero's Journey or whatever it's called. And I think I'll just bully them the same way I bully you at the start of an episode. If we're near a cave or a swamp or something during a journey, I'll just say, like, for us to be in a swamp, you two are the ones that look like you crawled through the mud. Stuff like that.
Okay, great.
Lilo tosses the Eve doll on her shelf and gets back to work on bringing her mom back from the dead. An insane plot for a children's movie, by the way. But not before being interrupted by Drew, the office slut who tries to bond with her, but instead knocks all of her shit over and then using her dead mom's brush to brush Eve's hair.
The signs were all there that I was PMSing because my note literally says, weird woman brushes doll's hair after getting yelled at by Lindsay Lohan doing her spell. This is a horror movie. Get out of her room, lady. But I stand by what PMSing me said because it's creepy anyway to go into your coworker's preteen daughter's room. But then when that preteen daughter tells you to get out and storms away, do you know what you shouldn't do? Anything that she does next. She should immediately leave, but instead she takes the doll, the garage sale doll that she's brought over to this girl, takes a real human hairbrush. So, like, yes, she may not have known that that was the mom's hairbrush, but, like, it's still meant for humans, and just is, like, brushing that doll right by Lindsay Lohan's bed. Nothing about this is okay.
No, it's not. And if they would have made it where it was the dad's girlfriend already, and, like, Lindsay just didn't like her because you'll never be my mom, whatever, it would have made it a little better. Like, you were already in this room before. You were already in this house. But no, this is just a coworker that, again, wants to suck the dad's dick.
Yeah, or just, like, really loves dolls. Because I think the other thing could have been, like, I'm going to add on to the story that you've built. So let's say it is the dad's new girlfriend. We've established that. And her birthday present was to give her one of her old dolls. That this was really important to me when I was 11, and I'm going to pass it on to you. So that's why she has the connection to the doll to want to make sure that the hair is just right. But this is just a doll you've given to the 11-year-old. This feels like how, no offense if he's listening, but this feels like how sometimes my dad gives gifts, which is just to give other people things that he wishes people would have gotten for him. It's like, did you just want a doll? It's okay. You could have paid the 25 cents at the garage sale and brought that doll home for yourself, baby girl. You didn't need to give it to an 11-year-old who hates you.
Which, by the way, American Girl, I know they're a little pricey. Very pricey. They have an Elphaba and Glinda doll currently. I might get it for myself. Both of them.
Okay. Well, in your new space, I told you built-in shelves, and then it can become some art.
I know. Right next to Rosie O'Donnell. And a
Cutie
little
patootie.
sperm with lipstick.
What?
I have a sperm with lipstick.
Oh, cute. Is it from the Our Changing Bodies book?
No, it's big. It's like this big. From, I assume the Museum of Sex, but who knows, really. When she leaves, Lilo gets back to her spell, using her mom's brush as the gift to the gods or whatever. But now, the brush has Eve's hair on it. So instead, Lilo wakes up to a life-size, get it? Eve doll in her bed. Now, a living, breathing woman. Chelsea, Tyra was born to play Eve. She's perfect.
And when you blasted me hating this movie out to the internet, I did get several DMs being like, oh, is it because Tyra's in it? And I do think that people forget sometimes that, yes, I am a see you next Tuesday, but I'm also a problematic see you next Tuesday. And one thing that you will not be finding here at I Am the Cute One is any negative talk about Tyra Banks, the human. I find her pretending to have rabies on the Tyra Banks show compelling television. Her pretending to be an unhoused person and her takeaway being what a difficult day it was for her to pretend to be an unhoused person. You can't write shit like this. So I had problems with this movie, but Tyra Banks was not one of them.
You know what Chelsea doesn't say about Tyra? Get that faggot off my screen. I am not watching that. That's my favorite Tyra moment.
Yeah, you know, she's an empath.
Cuties, you may have heard of HelloFresh. They're the #1 meal kit in America, making home cooking easier with chef-crafted recipes and fresh ingredients delivered straight to your door. But this fall, they're serving up even more to love. This isn't the HelloFresh you remember. It's bigger. HelloFresh has doubled its menu. Now you can choose from 100 options each week, including new seasonal dishes and recipes from around the world. Dig into bigger portions that'll keep everyone satisfied. It's healthier. Feel great with an even healthier menu. Choose from 15 plus high-protein recipes each week with options like grass-fed ribeyes or lamb chops. HelloFresh now helps you eat greener with new veggie-packed recipes that have 2 or more veggies per dish. And it's tastier. Get steak and seafood recipes delivered every week for no extra cost. Now with 3 times the seafood options. Savor the season with hearty fall recipes like classic beef chili or honey glazed pork tenderloin. Discover new seasonal produce each week, from leeks to broccolini to Italian eggplant and more. I cannot get enough of HelloFresh. You know, the last time I went to the grocery store, the electric was out. I fully told myself, today I'm going to be responsible. I'm going to go to the grocery store and not order fast food. I arrived at the grocery store as planned, and the electric was out. And they told me, sorry, no one can come in. So what did I do? I went home and ordered fast food. Now, if that would have been a week I had HelloFresh, I could have went home and made HelloFresh. So guess what this week is? A week I had HelloFresh. I'm not falling for this grocery store blackout ever again. You can't get me twice. The best way to cook just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/cute110FM now to get 10 free meals and free breakfast for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's HelloFresh.com/cute110FM to get 10 free meals and free breakfast for life.
One of the problems I do have with this movie, though, the implications that this spell worked means that the mom could be brought back from the dead.
How?
It worked for Tyra. The only reason it worked for Eve was because that dumb bitch brushed that doll's hair. But it would have worked because the mom's hair was on the brush. So we are living in a world where it has been established as canon that Lindsay Lohan could indeed go back and do the spell again and bring her mother back from the dead.
You're
if
right.
I was Lindsay, not to spoil the ending, but that wouldn't be the last spell that I had cast. I would just be getting started.
No, you're right. And also, I don't know, I think it's just poorly written, but like, this was a resurrection spell, and it brought a piece of plastic alive. You're not really resurrecting anybody right now.
And maybe they're saying because the altar got mixed around that something had gone awry. It's like we got off on the wrong exit or something. But there also wasn't really a big message about like, we shouldn't bring people back from the dead. Like, yes, and we'll get to it. There is a lovely moment of like, nobody can replace your mom, yada, yada, yada. But I don't think it was ingrained in Lindsay Lohan, who is really very much searching for answers and trying to grasp on some sort of belief system. Nobody ever sits her down and is like, hey, honey, so like, we shouldn't be doing resurrection spells, though, right?
Right. On Buffy, spoiler alert, when her mom dies, her little sister does a spell to bring her mom back from the dead, and it works. But then you see the mom walking outside the window, and she's clearly a zombie. And then they're like, no, spells will bring them back in the wrong way. So then they do the spell to go against it. And then when they open the door, she's not there because they reversed it. But like, even one line about like bringing her back won't make her who she was.
It's like they never even saw practical magic.
Oh, exactly. To reverse the spell, Lilo needs to buy volume 2 of the book. And she has to do it before the setting sun of the 4th day, or the spell becomes permanent. Unfortunately, Eve does not want this to happen because she's having the time of her life, having a sense of smell and electronics that actually work. So when Lilo sends her into the magic store to steal the second book, Eve instead points out his shoplifter. But luckily for Eve, he doesn't have volume 2 in stock anyway. Chelsea, again, this is a magic store. The whole point of his books in the first place is to do Magic. So Lindsay Lohan, yes, she stole the book, but she doesn't need volume 1 anymore. We're not raising anyone else from the dead. She should be, but she's not. So why not return it and say, yes, I'm sorry, I shoplifted, I tried to bring my mom back. Instead, I brought a Barbie doll to life. Can I borrow book 2? Because here is a life-size Barbie doll.
Yeah, I think that would have brought something to the plot, because then she could have a co-conspirator, but she really does go through the majority of this movie being the only one in on the secret that she's brought Tyra Banks back as a real life person.
And like, if you need a clue that I'm telling you the truth, she's outside of your store sniffing garbage. Lilo flees and almost gets cruel intentioned by a truck when she falls into the street until Eve stands in front of the truck with her hand up, a skill she learned during her stint as a police officer.
And we should have known she was a police officer when she narked on Lindsay Lohan just the scene before, because ACAB, even Eve.
ATAB, all Tyras are bad. Lindsay Lohan daddy thanks Eve for saving her daughter's life and asks how he can repay her. And she chooses a trip to the mall, where the three of them spend the day together. And because Eve's never dressed herself before, said in third person, it's time for Lilo to help her pick out clothes as C'est La Vie plays.
This is what pulled me in. This is what turned it around. This was the first scene I watched today. And I said, okay, this movie's pretty cute.
One time at church, they did a puppet show on Christmas Eve. You'll ask how that... You'll ask how that relates to anything I'm about to say, but unfortunately it does. The big bad wolf... The big bad wolf who was at the birth of Jesus for God knows what reason, when he huffed and puffed and tried to blow the manger down, he sang, I'll huff, I'll puff, I'll huff and puff and blow you away.
Wow.
Yeah. This was not the same Birth of Jesus puppet show that the dinosaur who used the Mr. T voice was at, though. I pity the fool who don't believe in Jesus.
I would love to get an interview with the chorus director of that church, because there were just so many decisions being made, each and every performance there.
No, we hired out for the puppet shows. It was a company.
Okay, I'm going to pivot from there. I certainly have more questions I could ask, but that doesn't mean I have questions I should ask.
Okay.
This scene, there are some other horrifying little tidbits that I had wondered about, because in this point, clearly we see she knows how things work if she has experienced it in the context of her home Barbie world. So she knows about telephones. She knows about computers. We'll see that later. She doesn't know about escalators because those don't exist. She's never gotten herself dressed before. I really did need a scene. If this was not a made-for-TV Disney movie, I needed a scene of her taking a shit for the first time. Because if she reacted that way on an escalator, baby girl wouldn't know what hit her the first time she had to take a deuce.
That's true. Or having a vag. Like, you don't have panties painted on.
Yeah.
You have a vagina.
Nipples.
Oh, yeah. I got nipples, Eve. Can you milk me? And
And it might just be because you just told that tale of the big bad wolf at the birth of Jesus. But the way you just said Nipples Eve, I did think of it like Nipples is the holiday, but then we do have to go through Nipples Eve, which comes with its own traditions and values before we get to nipples. Happy nipples.
ooh. And Lindsay Lohan daddy takes her to lunch where she deep throats butter. And because she's currently unhoused, he lets her stay in their guest house, which used to be the mother's studio. And we've seen some bad parenting, but this is tough. This is the toughest.
Yeah, there is a lot that's tough about this. Now, I will say I do love a guest house. I always dream of having a guest house. I think it's because Ryan from the OC really romanticized it for me. But one thing about movies in the 90s and 2000s is they love a bad dad. They love a dad who is not around, but then does like one thing and is suddenly a good dad again. Because this is a man who hasn't made it to a single football game this entire season, but suddenly a woman who looks like Tyra Banks comes along and suddenly he can take the entire day off and go have lunch and a nice day shopping with this bimbo.
You're right.
And then not only that, but he gives her a job in his office, no
Yeah.
checking of the resume, no even knowing this woman's last name. Like, this man deserves to be scammed. Anna Delvey, who?
Since Eve has zero real-world office experience, she raises hell in the office, shredding important documents, breaking nails, typing nonsense into the computer, and deleting confidential files. Luckily, another employee, Richard, is there to help her with the last part and offers to give her some computer tips when it's obvious he wants to give her another tip. But because she's living with because she's living with Lindsay Lohan Daddy, he wants to follow bro code, so he asks permission to ask her as his date to the office party, and it's approved. What's not approved is Lindsay Lohan Daddy putting a back rub.
I don't know why it makes me laugh every time.
What's not approved is Lindsay Lohan Daddy getting a back rub from Eve, which Drew interrupts and is not thrilled about. Someone else not thrilled is Ellen, the office manager, who fires Eve at the end of her shift, leaving Eve flustered. Eve never fails. And it's true, Eve never fails. So while she may not be good at typing, she is good at makeovers, and she gives Ellen a makeover on the spot. And in return, Eve gets to keep her job.
And I don't know if it's just because I was an OG ANTM watcher.
Oh, yeah.
And I lived for those America's Next Top Model makeover scenes and episodes. But when Eve goes to turn her around to the mirror, there was a moment that I was like, this woman's going to look like a clown. Like, this is not going to be a good makeover. And I was pleasantly surprised that Eve really did know how to highlight the cheekbones.
She did. Ellen looked cute.
But Drew coming in and being like, maybe I'm just being jealous. I'm sorry. You just read a woman's resume where she said she worked for NASA, was the head of the police department, and was a doctor. Like, the self-gaslighting that's taking place right now. Also, for Lindsay Lohan Daddy, if you want to make partner, you know what you might want to do? Just go through the temp agency next time. This feels like you're really flying too close to the sun right now, and you were blinded by Tyra Banks's beauty.
For sure. And I would be as well. I can give him that. But, sir, also, this montage was Simple Life coded.
100%.
Loved it. And for me personally, and anyone with a brain, Eve typing into the computer where she's just smiling and hitting random letters, that's the second best scene of the movie.
100%. I've used that as a meme before, not even having seen this movie, just because it really conveys so much.
Lilo can't risk her father falling in love with a life-size Barbie, so she tells him the truth about the spell and Eve, and that she only has 3 days to get volume 2 of the book, and he doesn't believe her. So Lilo is dead set on revealing the truth about Eve. She heads to the toy store to get some intel on Eve and learns that every Eve doll comes with a serial number tattooed on the bottom of her foot. When Lindsay gets home, she yanks off Eve's shoe to find that she does, indeed, have a serial number.
This is where I wondered if Quentin Tarantino, or whatever his name is that his name? Quentin Tarantino?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound right when I say it.
It doesn't.
Anyway, you know how he has a foot fetish? And so in all of his movies, the women are showing their feet. So like Uma Thurman was in Pulp Fiction, maybe, which is one of his movies. And she has like her foot scenes. And then recently, her daughter, who was in the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood movie, went on Amy Poehler's podcast. And Amy Poehler was like, did your mom give you any advice about working with Quentin Tarantino? And she was like, yep. She said, keep your shoes on. And they both like had a good laugh about it. But in that movie, she has a scene where her feet are pressed up against the dashboard and 9 toes are touching the dashboard because it was his 9th movie.
Huh.
Isn't it so weird when you reach a certain level of fame and everybody's just like, this guy loves to jerk it to a foot?
But Eve doesn't want to tell Lindsay Lohan Daddy. Not before the office party, at least. She is, after all, Richard's date. At the party, Eve binge eats the hors d'oeuvres before mingling and telling people why she's a perfect role model. That's office skills and people skills that Eve doesn't have. But the list doesn't end there, because when Lindsay Lohan Daddy asks her to dance, it appears, although she's the best ballroom dancer back where she came from, all she has here is 2 left feet. She picks it up quickly, though, and is soon wowing the crowd with her routine, wowing everyone but Drew, who is jealous of Miss Eve. And Miss Eve doesn't just teach lessons about littering and animal rights. And after their dance, she tells Lindsay Lohan Daddy that he needs to enjoy life more and think about life less, before telling Richard that he doesn't need to be a forward pig, just be himself. Maybe I'm Richard, too. I'm Eve and Richard. And then she sings to the crowd exactly what they need to hear. Shine bright, shine far, don't be shy, be a star. Where you live, where you are, shout it out, be a star. And the people listen, including Richard, who takes Eve's advice and asks Ellen, the office manager, to dance. We knew it was coming, Chelsea.
No.
But I cried here.
Here?
Yeah, I cried. When she...
Well, everyone, I hope that you have enjoyed the last episode of I Am the Cute One. We said last week, if anyone cried this week, we were packing it in, wrapping it up, shutting it down. So you can thank Donnie for this. He's a broken man.
Her song was already giving me emotions, but then when Richard asked Ellen to dance, it really warmed my heart. All you need to do is look pretty and people will like you.
Yeah, it's very The Swan coded, featuring one Dr. Terry Dubrow.
When Eve and Lindsay Lohan Daddy get home, they end the night with a kiss. A kiss that Lilo walks in
I'm going to make a
on.
montage of you saying Lindsay Lohan Daddy and me laughing every single time.
I took a picture with him once, you know that?
What? When? How?
Well, funny you should ask. I went to a bar to meet Sammy Sweetheart and Ronnie. They were there as the celebrity guests. But then they have friends. So who else was there? Lindsay Lohan Daddy and the woman that John cheated on Kate with. I know. And she told me I was hot, but I was like, ooh, you also thought John Gosselin was hot.
What a cast of characters.
I know. And I photobombed every Lindsay Lohan Daddy photo. A kiss that Lilo walks in on, and she's pissed. And her attitude carries over into the next day when she calls a teammate Wienerhead and gets benched for bad behavior. Eve visits the school to apologize. She may have knowledge about fur and litter, but she's never seen crying before last night. And Lilo teaches her what it's like being human. Real life's not perfect. You lose people you love. People cry. Eve may not know what it's like being human, but she does know what happened to Lilo wasn't fair, and that nobody will ever replace her mother.
Two things. One, it's crazy that you cried in this movie and it wasn't this scene.
Well,
if there was a time to cry, I feel like this heart-wrenching speech about dead mothers might have done it. But nope, you just loved that full circle moment of the ugly girl getting pretty and getting the guy. Number two, I'm so glad that you said specifically the insult of Wienerhead, because I knew that she had said something pertaining to Wiener, and I was trying to get the right quote for when I said I was the football coach earlier. But every now and then I do forget how the internet works. And so I surely did Google life-size wiener quote. And let me tell you, the images that popped up were not this film.
one time my grandma looked for dicks online. She meant the sporting goods. Not what she found. Eve rushes off. Can she drive? To surprise her at home with some baked goods. But since the bitch never used a real oven, she sets the kitchen on fire before using the fire extinguisher incorrectly. And as she crashes out and feels sorry for herself, Lilo laughs in her face, which makes her laugh, and they order pizza instead. This is the scene that made me angriest, and I'll tell you why. A baked good is a sweet. You were promising me a sweet. And now...
Are you waving a knife at us? What is that?
Yeah, it's the knife I scratched my back with.
Sure. Go on. I just wanted to paint the full picture of what we're dealing with for those that aren't watching this episode on YouTube.
Baked good is a sweet. Pizza is savory. This is not a good swap. You promised me a sweet. You're not even getting me pineapple on it. There's not even a sweet taste to this. A hot honey.
Okay. I could understand.
I was livid.
But this is a woman who has only learned about how foods taste like 72 hours
That's
ago.
true. I'm glad she's not taking a dead cat out of the trash.
Yeah.
That night, alone in Lilo's room, Eve tells her she doesn't know what's wrong with her. She used to be able to help so many girls, and now nobody cares about her. Lilo tells her to stop being perfect. You don't have to be the best, you have to try the best. In return, Eve tells her she looks like shit. And it appears she doesn't try at all. And she continues to not mind her business and tells Lindsay Lohan Daddy that Lilo is good at football and he needs to start going to her games. Again, bad parenting, because this woman, you're already letting her stay in your guest house, but now this woman that you don't know, that obviously lied on her resume, is in your daughter's room alone. In her bed, no less. The fourth day arrives, and by sunset, the spell will become permanent, which thrills Lilo now that she's done being a bitch and enjoys Eve's company. Eve, however, saw on the news that the toy company that makes Eve dolls will make a decision in 2 weeks if the doll will be discontinued due to low sales, and she needs to get back to Sunnyvale. But Lilo doesn't have time to talk about all that because it's the day of the championship game.
And Tyra Banks is a terrible actress. And this is a scene that really spoke to that. And I can't remember exactly what she says, but I do know there was an up-down motion of her hands because she's just seen the hard-hitting local news of the Eve doll stock that's just on CNN during the daytime. But she's trying to tell her what's happening, and she's like, but the TV said... And I was just like, oh, Tyra, like... That was the best take. That was the one that the director said, all right, wrap them up. We got it.
Yeah. I mean, she's not great, but it does add to it, I think.
It is how a Barbie would pretend to be a human. And I think ultimately this is just meta commentary on how Tyra Banks herself walks through the world as a Barbie doll cosplaying a human experience. That's why sometimes she has to put on a fat suit just to see how the other half lives. Kiss my fat ass.
Lindsay Lohan Daddy is at work when he takes Eve's words into account and leaves early, knowing that if he leaves, it may jeopardize his chance at making partner. And he gets there halfway through the first quarter, where he yells Lindsay's name and distracts her, causing her to get tackled.
Again, another scene that if you were going to cry at this movie, maybe this one. Because I'll tell you what, all of those videos on Instagram and TikTok that are like, never underestimate the power of showing up. And it's like a little kid at their like preschool recital and they're like all nervous and then they like see their parent and they like start waving and smiling. That makes me weep every time.
Oh, I love military men getting unwrapped.
Unwrapped. I love when they sneak up behind somebody and tap them on the shoulder.
No, mine is when they get in Christmas boxes and people wrap them up so that like the mom or something can unwrap the gift and it's her son in there.
Okay. I didn't know that was a specific genre. I usually get the big sporting event where like they're in front of the whole crowd and then somebody's like taking a picture of everybody and then the, son is like right behind and then like taps them on the shoulder. Or like the kid is like, Daddy! And like runs across the whole basketball court. A lot of basketball military reunions. I guess our algorithms are just catered to us.
Maybe, because I love a niche category. I'm currently not watching porn, trying to. I'm on day 2. And instead, I read erotic fiction.
So... Using the old imagination. Boom, boom, ain't it great to be crazy?
Yesterday, I was trying to look what category I wanted, or you can use the search function. So, like, there were categories that spoke to me, like straight, interracial, stepbrother, whatever, but that was too broad. So then I tried in the search bar, nothing came up. But I was like, straight stepbrother who's a rapper. Nothing came up. So I think I need to write one of my own.
You can become an author on, like, Amazon. You just have a pen name and then you can write your own fiction and then self-publish.
What about Donnie Dick Down?
Sure. So, cuties, if in the future you find a Donnie Dick Down writing about a straight rapper who has a hot stepbrother and something happens there, great.
I'll tell you what happens there. Meanwhile, Eve puts on a new wig and stands outside the toy store, mourning the end of her doll line, before heading to the bookstore to pick up Volume 2, and then stopping by the championship game to watch Lindsay make one hell of a pass. Unfortunately, the team still doesn't win, and as Lindsay hugs her dad and he tells her how proud her mom would be, Eve cries. She's officially a human. But not for long. Eve has the book and is headed home to Sunnyvale. It's a race against the clock, and Lilo and Lindsay Lohan Daddy head to the toy factory to catch Eve in time to stop her. But it's too late. Eve has taken a walk through the studio where her commercial was shot and knows she has to return and has already done the spell. But she's learned so much in these 4 days and has new lessons to teach little girls all over the world. And as the sun sets, Eve becomes a doll again. And it was for a good reason, because the Eve dolls are now flying off the shelves since her new brand makeover, encouraging girls to give their 100-watt smile. And Eve wasn't the only one who learned something. Lilo cares about her looks, and now people want to be her friend. And Lindsay Lohan Daddy is partner, and learned to open his heart to Drew.
I do need to discuss some more implications here.
Okay.
A lot of implications from the storytelling of this movie.
Uh-huh.
Because the implication is that the doll is somehow creating the market for the toys.
Uh-huh.
You know, like it would feel like if she remained human, she could be the representative of the Eve doll collection and perhaps do more good as a human to market the dolls. But it does seem like somehow there is a world in which the doll is creating the narrative of the marketing approach. So just some questions there. I was really expecting there to be like a Skipper type doll that gets put out that looks like Lilo.
Oh, that would be cute.
The last thing I have to say, that song at the end, I hate that this is the way my brain works, but when Tyra is like talking over the music before she starts singing, she sounds identical to Kris Jenner in her I Love My Friends video.
Oh, okay.
I encourage everyone to go back and listen to, it's not the song part, but it's the first part of the talking. I love my friends.
Good song.
Final thoughts. If we were to bring this movie to present day, what would the plot of a sequel be, or who would you cast in the reboot?
The Barbie movie always seemed like a sequel to me. Like, when I thought of what a Barbie movie would be, I know Life Size is beloved. They wouldn't just remake Life Size with bigger stars and a bigger budget. But, like, when I think of what a Barbie movie would be, it's Life Size. So, this feels like the first movie, and the Barbie movie seems like what a sequel would be. That doesn't answer the question, though. So, I think I would cast Zendaya as Eve.
Okay.
And that's all I got for you.
I said the reboot could be done as like a thriller, like a bunny boiler movie where she infiltrates the dad's work, the family. She's finding her way into the daughter's bedroom. Part of me really wants to do what I used to do with Seventh Heaven clips and set them to horror music. If I have some time this week, or if I'm procrastinating tasks I should be doing instead, maybe I will take some clips from Life Size and set it to horror music. Because can you imagine the difference in tone of Lindsay Lohan opening her eyes and there's Eve smiling at her next to her in bed, but instead of the fun Disney music, it's like, dun, dun, dun. So what about this movie ages well, and what ages like Blockbuster?
There was really only one Blockbuster item for me, and that was randomly, for no reason, and I don't even know who she was talking about, after the ball or after the company party, when she and Lindsay Lohan daddy were arriving home, she said, "Ben, did you see that big lady dancing?" And then they laughed about it, just like I did. Why it was there, I don't know.
That was probably like in Tyra Banks's rider. She was like, I will do this movie if I can have green M&Ms backstage, and I need to have some fat phobia thrown into the script. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like this movie was cute. It's one of those movies I didn't watch with my girls, but I probably will throw on for them at some point. Movies from this time are so hit or miss of whether or not I feel like I should even show them to my daughters, but this had a cute message. I don't think there was anything glaringly wrong about it. Yeah, overall, cute. That's my final review. If I were Roger Ebert, I'd say cute.
Next week, we will be starting to cover holiday films, so tune in for that. And that's it. That's Life Size. So it's been a pleasure. We'll talk to you later. Love you like a sister. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to I Am the Cute One. If you want more, head to patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne for uncut, unedited, and unhinged video and audio footage of current episodes, as well as even more bonus content.
And if you like what you heard, please be sure to leave a 5-star rating and subscribe to our show. And to help us grow this community of chaotic cuties, share an episode with a friend you think would pass the vibe check.
And to see the madness, check out our YouTube channel, where video footage from all current episodes are posted weekly.
You can follow me at Real Donnywood on Instagram and all other social media platforms.
And if you want more of my personal brand of chaos, check me out at Oh No Chels.
Talk to you later. Love you like a sister.